All right, here comes the fabulous Bruno.
That's an outrage.
He is America's #1 sports radio personality, and I will read an email here, a complimentary email. Well, I'll leave off the second half of it, but he's just saying how much he loves Bruno because Bruno never turns on the callers to his program, and the guy is Niner Bob saying Tony never puts down the people that call his show. Here is the fabulous Bruno. Tony, congratulations on the email.
Thank you, Gary. As the great Tracy Morgan said last night on TNT, Sarah Palin, your thoughts.
All right. You saw it too then, huh?
Well, everybody's seen it now. If you didn't see it live, you've seen the tape, Gary.
Pretty funny, huh? No, I mean, again, I can't say this enough. How many times are you going to go over, well, the Knicks need another power forward? I mean, that's what people remember from those shows.
Exactly. They don't remember. Well, Howard Stern was there last night, too. Who was explaining the game to him? Did he have somebody there who told him what was going on?
He's not a sports guy, huh?
No, not at all. No, and that's not a shot at Howard Stern, but he's not a sports guy. But that just shows you the Miami Heat come to town. You know, the Knicks are good again. And so it's like L.A. with the Lakers. All the celebrities out, and now even in New York. Dan Rather, I believe, was there last night. Was he there?
I
Donald Trump was there. I know that.
Tone, before we go any further, this is kind of a historic moment.
Charlie Sheen got arrested again? What did I miss?
Yeah, poor these.
You know why he got a hernia, Gary, right? Because the report yesterday here in Hollywood was he had a hernia. He was taken to the hospital. You know, you try carrying 2 porn stars in a briefcase full of blow and see if you can not be able to handle
Excuse me, Patrick said, is it a sports hernia? You know how that goes. If you got a hernia, you have a hernia, right?
No, sports hernia was the she injury in the NFL a few years ago. Remember Donovan McNabb had one? A bunch of players had the sports hernia. That's out now. Yeah. High ankle sprains came in, and then this year, I don't know what the injury was this year. What was the she injury in the NFL? Helmet-to-helmet concussion hits was that was the injury this
Before
year.
you go any further, and again, on Chuck Sheen, it's pretty hard. That guy's just sick, right? I mean,
And the saddest part is, if this guy was an athlete, we'd be saying, it doesn't, look at this guy. How does he do this? How do they allow this? But you know why? Just like another athlete if you're a high profile person and you make money for somebody, Michael Vick got another chance because somebody thought that he was going to make money for him after he went to jail. Ben Roethlisberger's been in trouble, not arrested, but at least has problems off the field. He goes out and wins Super Bowls, nobody cares. CBS, Charlie Sheen keeps getting caught with hookers in bathrooms and cocaine. His show's still #1 on CBS, 2.5 Men. Hopefully he'll be okay. That's what happens in the world, Gary. If you can produce money for somebody, they don't seem to care what you do.
Patrick says, of course, now, Patrick's half joking, but he says, sounds like fun. You know what I mean?
Listen, he got married. Remember, Charlie Sheen, wild guy, he needs to settle down. He needs to get married. So he gets married to Denise Richards, and then a couple years later, bam, he's back out there. And it goes with my theory of rent, don't buy.
Yes.
But he takes it to the next level. He tries to rent and buy on the same night, and you can't do that. And especially when you have a briefcase full of cocaine, Gary. That's not a good mix.
That is shame. So this is the first time, and Dan will acknowledge, the first time all 4 of us have worked together on the same show. Dan Dibley, Patrick Connor, and the 2 of us. Are you aware of this?
No, that's not the first time.
No, we've never worked. Patrick has come in, of course.
Well, Patrick's come in, and then we always play the Patrick.
Yeah.
And then he makes a contribution.
But he is doing a 7-hour shift?
Gary, once again, I used to put Cammy paint in my ears and crawl around in the dirt with an M16. This ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Semper Fi, baby.
Oh,
Semper
thank
Fi.
you, Tone. And War Eagle.
Patrick, were you ever in a position, now I'm being serious, where you were scared for your life?
Never. I was a Marine. I was trained to kill the enemy.
No, I know, but were you ever...
In fact, I was a killer by day, a drunkard by evening, and a lover by night.
Oh,
and
sort of like Charlie Sheen. Yeah, you were Charlie Sheen before there was a Charlie Sheen.
Just once, Tone. Just once. Give me a suitcase and Brie Olson.
Yeah.
No, see, I don't want to do that. Gary always makes fun, talks about what I do. I would never go. I mean, why do you need a briefcase full of cocaine? Seriously.
No, because he's sick. Now, I'm being serious about this. Here's a guy with young children, the whole world at his feet, and he's sick. He just can't get
you're
by.
absolutely right, Gary. Again, we can joke around about it, porn stars in a hotel room and all that other stuff, but this is beyond just a guy having fun. This guy needs, and hopefully, the thing that bothers me about the Hollywood community is the publicists, who have to go out there and just say, oh, no, that stuff on TMZ, that's not true. That's all made up stuff. They enable these people, the Lindsay Lohans, the really troubled people who need help. They just enable them by continuing to say, they're not doing anything wrong. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that bothers me.
Well, let me ask you that. Of course, the comeback, even got an email here. Why do you feel sorry for somebody like that who's had every opportunity?
I don't feel sorry for him. I just think I think it just shows you that if you have a talent and you can make money for somebody, they'll allow you to do anything you want. If he had a bad show and it was struggling in the ratings, he'd be long gone from CBS. But CBS just allows this guy to keep doing it and doesn't try to get the guy help. Now, I don't know what CBS is doing. I don't want to condemn them. But if his show wasn't one of the top-rated shows on television, would this be, would they be putting up with this stuff? No, they would try to get this guy help and get him off the air and put the show down and then just go out there and worry about the guy's well-being. But they don't. They want episodes.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying, the sympathy angle would come from the fact that nobody is apparently or did apparently try and help him because he was a moneymaker.
Yeah, he gets, what, $1 million an episode, and people
What's he make, Dan, on that? What's he,
On 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
Probably about $750,000 per episode.
Are you?
No, I think he's up to $1 million an episode now.
Because it's funny how something sticks in your mind. I remember the big deal is when Carol O'Connor's bunker it would get $250 an episode, right?
That was $250 back then.
No, $250,000.
No, I know that was a lot of money.
And then he complained about being typecast.
Actually, $250,000 is a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Let alone the 80s. Okay.
Well, not with taxes, Tone.
Theodore Danson got $450 an episode at the end of Cheers, Gary.
Did he really?
Yeah.
And the Friends crew was getting $1 million per episode.
Who's that, Dan?
The Friends crew. Of course.
Oh, that's right.
Jennifer Aniston and company.
And unfortunately, Jennifer Aniston, with all that money, still hasn't been able to buy talent. You just can't buy talent.
Tell do you really think she doesn't have talent?
She's okay. I'm just not gaga like a lot of guys are. Is she a cute girl? Yeah, I told you I was at a party in a club somewhere, and she was there, and I didn't even no one even knew she was there. So if you're that outstanding, and my point is, it's not because they're celebrities doesn't mean they're more attractive. They just means they're more well known. And the old walk down the street anywhere in any city in America, and you'll find women much more attractive than Jennifer Aniston. She just happens to be a movie star, and so we go overboard and say, wow, she's the most amazing woman. She didn't even stand out in a room of 50 people when I was there.
It's funny, Tone. We had this discussion back and forth. In fact, one guy, but he said, oh, get off Palin and Tina Fey, the question that was brought up last night on the basketball.
Sarah Palin or Tina Fey.
Right. In fact, Patrick, do you want to play
that?
Dan
Dibley. Sarah Palin or Tina Fey?
I remarked that I'd take Palin out of fear that Tina Fey would make fun of me while I was doing my deed.
Yeah,
that's a great answer. See, now that's the right answer, I believe.
I don't want a woman running material, Tone, as I'm trying to handle my business.
Let's go to Patrick Connor. Patrick. Tina Fey or Sarah Palin?
It's a no-brainer. I would go Palin, Bristol or Sarah.
All right, and Tone, my answer was. And again, I was accused of a Ray Woodsonism, but I was doing my own thing. I think both of them, when I look at neither of them, excites me in that manner. Because Palin, all she wants to do is promote herself, and Tina Fey's so smart, she wants to sit and write all night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but every once in a while you got to have some fun, Gary. I mean, even I do that, and even you do that every once in a while.
I know,
when you're not sick, by the way. How you're getting any better now, Gary?
I'm fine. Just the end of a little bronchitis. Anyway, here it is. Are you ready, Patrick?
By the way, how about that St. Mary's game last night, Gary? Gonzaga, St. Mary's. That was great basketball.
They will be our representative, Northern California, Tone, in the NCAA tournament.
Let's go to Dan Dibley. Dan, the Gales, your thoughts.
I know. Patrick wants to play you Tracy Morgan first.
You ready, Tone?
Yes, let's go to Tracy. This is what Kenny the Jet Smith now is doing most of the questioning here.
Tina Fey or Sarah Palin? He can't get fired now. No, I'm just telling you. It's Tina. Listen, let me ask you one question. Sarah Palin's good looking, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tina Fey's good looking.
Yo, let me tell you something about Sarah Palin, man. She's good masturbation material. Glasses and all of that. Great masturbation material.
Want
to thank Tracy Morgan for stopping by.
See, I mean, now let me ask you, Tone, straight up, as a performer in your own right, in fact, I just saw your card a couple of weeks ago that you gave me, right? You have humorist on your card.
humorist on my business card.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, exactly. But
I don't know what it means. It means that I try to have fun, I guess.
did you need the term masturbation to make that segment work?
Yes, but most people
You
are
did.
editing it out, and I believe that here at KNBR we have we pushed the envelope a little bit more, although that's not really one of the 7 words you can't say on the air anymore.
I didn't know that was.
It's not, but there are 7 words. That's not one of them, but some people will consider that offensive, Gary, so if that offended you, we apologize.
Okay. We have Tim, who's with his dog, has Charlie Sheen salary knowledge. Go, Tim. You're on KNBR.
Yeah, hi, Tony and Gary. Charlie gets between 1.6 and 1.8 million a episode.
Is it? I thought it was $1 million. He's over $1 million now?
Over $1 million. He's
No wonder why he's got a suitcase now. I mean, you can get a whole briefcase full of it with that kind of cash.
Let me ask you, Tim, and again, this is made. Dan's going to roll his eyes. You feel sorry
Not that
for
I
Charlie
dabble
Sheen?
with cocaine, Gary, but I'm not, that's something I would always avoid because I would be afraid of becoming addicted to it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Tony. If you're sick, you don't worry about that stuff. You just have to have it, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if he's an addict. I don't know what his deal is, but when you're again, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on what the guy's problem is, but
Yeah,
some people would not consider it a problem. Some people would think it's it's a luxury to have that kind of lifestyle.
Patrick and Dan always give me this. Dan, what's the official term? It's not bleeding heart. What's the matter with me?
You're too soft on people.
Yeah, and but here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Gary, I feel sorry for Charlie Sheen. Poor guy makes $1.6 million for doing absolutely nothing, and his little
Well, don't
drug
say
problem.
absolutely nothing.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for him because he's got a drug problem.
But he's sick.
Oh, poor baby.
There's a lot of people sick who are broke, Gary. There are people with drug problems who can't afford to eat. Those are the people you should feel sorry for.
Oh no, I know, but you.
We just don't know those people. That's the difference. We know Charlie Sheen because he's in the news every day, and he's always doing something that some people think is funny, and it's not. It's crazy. But you know what? That's his problem. If CBS doesn't care, if his family or his publicist doesn't care to get this guy help, why should we care?
Amen,
it's unfortunate. We use it as it's a joke now to most people. Guys are laughing at him. Oh, man, porn stars in a hotel room.
But they're not laughing now, though. He's sick now. Although
I think a lot of
Patrick's
people-
not laughing. You're
Patrick-
idolizing Patrick?
Absolutely. I mean, I live in the Loin and have to walk to work. Give me one day as Chuck Sheen.
All right. Tone, let me
Bree
Just
Olsen.
one day. Gary, you say that about me all the time. Just one day. Just one day.
Right,
Would you
one
want to
day
be
at a
Charlie
time,
Sheen
starring
for one
Bonnie
day?
Franklin.
You want to be okay? Now here I go, semi-serious. You want to thank you, Bonnie Franklin. You want to be? You want? By the way, that poor Mackenzie Phillips on with your pal Dr. Drew the other night,
No.
and that soft porn actress. Who's that soft?
Mary Carey, Gary, as you well know.
No.
I just saw Mary Carey in Vegas standing around looking dazed and confused.
Oh man, it's very battered, huh, Tone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go
Yes.
from 500 down to 75. That's the for going rate. But here's the deal. Here's where my sympathy comes from. And Dan, hopefully you will heed my word, and Tony as well. You look at a guy who has everything.
Mm-hmm.
He has young girls, all that stuff. He must know what's right and what's wrong, and he's so sick he can't stop.
Well, everybody knows right and wrong, and then we make that decision at the moment. Is this right or wrong? It's wrong, but I like it, so I'm going to do it. And then we either get away with it, it's like speeding. We know it's wrong, it's against the law, but you're late, and you got open highway, and you put the pedal to the metal, and you hopefully don't get caught and don't hurt anybody.
But Dan,
we all make wrong decisions every day, Gary. It's just how bad is the wrong decision going to ultimately hurt me, kill me, or somebody else?
But see, let me try Dan. Dan, the point is he's got that cocaine, right?
Sure.
And anybody with half a brain, hey, there's no use. I'm making $1.5 million an episode. I have young kids. I've got a good life. There's no way in hell I should have cocaine. But he's so sick. Why do you laugh? But he's so sick and so stupid, he carries the cocaine, Dan.
Well, everybody's got their own problems, Gary, whether you're a millionaire or you're living on the streets. We all have the same challenges trying to navigate life.
Right, and when you can't stop, you're sick.
Well, it's not going to make me feel
But,
sorry
Gary,
for the
but
poor baby.
Remember, we can go back and put this in the sports world. Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle, these guys would show up drunk and still be able to hit a baseball because they're professional and they're so good. And obviously Charlie Sheen, with all these issues, can still show up on the set of 2.5 Men and read a script and make people laugh and make a lot of money for CBS. So he's able to continue to do his life despite having these issues that's behind the scenes. So a lot of people do that. There are a lot of alcoholics and people who have drug problems, and they try to go to work every day and go through their day. But a lot of those people, when something goes wrong, they're out on the streets. They're fired. They're not going to continue to be enabled like a Charlie Sheen because he provides talent and makes a lot of money for a lot of people.
You think Bob Costas has a rookie card of Charlie Sheen in his wallet?
Well, no, I have was it Nuke LaLoosh, right? Was he? No, he wasn't Nuke LaLoosh. Who was he in the Wild Thing in the original Major League?
Oh, that's
movie?
right. He was the Brian Wilson figure. He was the Wild Thing,
Thing.
Tone, as you well know.
Did
yeah.
you catch
exactly
Brian
right.
Wilson last night on George Lopez, Tony?
No, I'm like most of America. I didn't see George Lopez,
Okay.
guy.
That's all right. Patrick has a sound clip for you. He was dressed
I'm not up that late. Who's up at midnight? Who does that? Who's sitting up at
Patrick
midnight?
Connor, who wanted the show to be good today.
I couldn't sleep, Tone, but then again, I didn't have a briefcase either.
And he was dressed up in what type of outfit?
Well, he was wearing a Captain Ahab hat, a sailor pea coat, peach trousers, Pippi Longstocking socks, and a pair of dock shoes.
Be Weezy out of the pen.
That was
But speaking
Brian
of
Wilson.
semen,
you know what
you
that's?
went.
We have tape?
Here it is.
Let's
Stone.
go to the tape.
But speaking of semen, you went in the off-season to Thailand.
Sure did.
How was that trip?
Well, I engaged in some activities that I'm proud of. I did what any normal 28-year-old single male would do in a foreign country. I had a lot of massages.
You had a lot of, but they got massage parlors here though in Thailand.
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves, my man. Not those kind of massages.
Oh.
They were strictly sexual.
All right. See, Tone,
It's
you're
pretty bad when the guest is funnier than the host, but the audience will laugh at anything. You notice?
Yeah.
The Oprah audience and the George Lopez audience have something in common. Whatever is said, they laugh at and they think it's the greatest thing they've ever heard.
But Patrick has really turned on George
sort of
Lopez.
like our audience. Sort of like our audience.
No, of
Gary.
course, but our audience is very discreet. Go
Exactly.
ahead, Patrick.
I would just say that Lopez, and I'm no comedian, but Lopez's riders are failing him miserably. He didn't make me laugh one time last night, except for when he called Wheezy MFer.
All right.
And you don't do that to our closer.
Tone, are you
Right.
aware of what George Lopez is going through?
I know he's getting a divorce.
Very
but
heavy
then again,
divorce. He's
everybody's
going to
getting
get cleaned out, going to lose the house in Pebble, etc.
Listen, I went through all that too, Gary. I have no sympathy for a guy who, after he gets cleaned out, still has a couple $100 million in or whatever he's got in the bank. The guys who I feel sorry for are the guys who lose everything and then don't have $1 million, $500 million contract to do a TV show. I don't feel sorry for people who, once they get cleaned out, still have more than enough money to get cleaned out 3 more times.
Okay.
Sorry, Gary.
Scotch in San
That's
Jose.
just the way I roll.
You want to talk to Tony about the 7 words. Scotch, you're on KNBR.
The great George Carlin, of course, told everybody about the 7 dirty words.
Yeah, and I remember, Tony, I'm going to praise you. I remember George Carlin. Dan, you don't remember this. George Carlin once called Tony's show to tell him how much he enjoyed him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
out
good.
of nowhere. He lives in Venice. He was the late great George Carlin, big sports radio, talk radio listener. And he called me one day out of the blue to tell me that he listens to the show and he loves the way I think. And then I knew at that point that I had arrived in your. When George Carlin likes the way you think,
That's pretty cool.
Then you know you're way out there. No, George was genius.
I tell you, Tony, the only thing I can relate it to, Henry Wolford once called me and said, "You're one of the finest sportscasters in this market." So that's a similar thing.
It's the same thing. When Henry Wolford says, Gary, the other night when you were showing highlights, I got to get to that level. That's what I'm striving to achieve.
Exactly. Go ahead, Scotch. Now that Tony and I have eaten up your time, go.
I will go. Hey, Tone, I gotta tell you, I like it a lot better on the show, and I watch every single day and listen on KNBR every single day, and I love when you're not in the studio and you're down there. It's just you guys have better chemistry, I think.
Why is that, Scotch?
We're sitting right next to each other here. Can't you see? Look in the box.
When you sit next to each other, you're too gooey together. It's much better when you're.
It's gooey gumdrops.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Scotch,
Okay, so-
I appreciate that for you even paying attention. Do you mean that on that Sunday night thing we do during football, too?
Yeah, I think you guys are better on the phone. There's just better chemistry. I think there's a better interaction with you, too, and it's funnier to me. So,
And what you're
you have
saying
any real
is,
estate that I can move into up there so we can make this happen?
well, yeah, no, it's
I got a room for you here, Tone.
Scotch, let me try you one more time now that you're talking about our favorite subjects. When we're that close to each other, the animosity, the anger, the jealousy comes out easier than when we're 550 miles apart?
No, that's just you and Dibley, Gary.
Oh, thank you. Dan, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, Gary. I got one foot in the car.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
Dan.
Nah,
What's Tiger doing, by the way, today? Did he tee off yet?
Yeah, Tiger actually 300 today, Tony. He's making a move down there at the South Course. He's just 3 shots back at Chris Kirk.
That's the much easier course, as you well know. The North Course, the difficult track.
I think you got it backwards, Tone. I think the South is the more difficult track.
I thought the North Course was harder than the South Course.
Well, having played the North, I found it much easier than the South.
Did you really play down there, Dan?
Of course, Gary. You think Lee Hammer sticks you with Marty Lurie at Fanfest if you don't play golf?
And by the way, I tried to call Lee Hammer yesterday. He doesn't return my calls.
He's very busy.
Who does he think he is, me?
No.
Who does that?
No, Lee is still walking.
I got important stuff I got to discuss with Lee Hammer, and he doesn't call me back.
Yeah, no, Lee is still walking Joe Lake about to his limousine.
Oh, okay.
It's taken him 24 hours, but it's... Yeah.
Lee, very humble enough to clean up the studio yesterday.
Yeah,
Lee Hammer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, everybody got excited because the Warrior owner was here, but...
well, why would Lee not return a voicemail, Gary?
Okay, can I be
honest
honest with you?
Have I fallen that far down on the food chain at KNBR 680, the sports leader?
Because he probably hasn't even gotten to the message because he's doing the Fanfest, all that stuff. And we had a little controversy. Dan was supposedly going to partner with me at the Fanfest, and now Dan is not.
He's bailing on you?
No, they put Ray, which is great, but it's been Dan and I the last 5 years.
Dan, what say you on this Fanfest fiasco?
Tone, you want to talk to Lee Hammer? You'll talk to Lee Hammer. Here is our program director and about to lure 40,000 people a week from tomorrow to AT&T. Lee, Tony Bruno for you.
First of all, I got to turn down my radio because I think you're supposed to do that before
can you turn your radio down? First-time caller, long-time listener?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Lee. Go ahead. You're on.
No, what was your message, Tone, for Lee?
I needed Lee to talk to me. I need to. It's a personal. It's not personal. It's a business thing.
All right.
Well, I was trying to think whether or not we wanted to have you here tonight. Is really the case.
Yes, I may be making a sneak trip up to the Bay Area, Gary.
I was not aware of that. What's going on tonight?
Well, not tonight. I need to do my show tonight.
Yeah,
and I need Lee to give me approval to use the KNBR studios.
Yes, you can use the KNBR studios. Tony left me a message yesterday, but in voicemails, I had about 12 voicemails, and I thought I cleared them all. And this morning when I came in, I all of a sudden checked my voicemails, and you have these things where it says you have one unopened message or whatever. I guess I didn't listen to it yesterday.
Oh, that's okay, because now we're talking to John Buckman and all the people, and no one knows what's going on, Lee. I don't want people I'm going over your head on.
Tone,
this.
what's going on? You'll fly all this way just for dinner at Giulio Tempestus?
No, I got to work tonight. I can't go out to have dinner tonight, Gary. I got to work 7 to 10.
All right.
I don't think the audience cares, though.
Yeah,
and nobody cares is right, Gary.
Lee, is that, tell the truth. You're up to your ears in Fanfest.
I cleared my voicemail, but then I just didn't see the one until this morning. I got an email from Tony saying, hey, no one called. And all of a sudden I see there's a voicemail, and I opened it this morning. We're getting it all taken care of, and you will be taken care of tonight in our studio.
All right. See, Tone, so Lee took care of it without having to...
I just want to make sure, because I'm getting all these other emails. I don't know anything about this. You got to tell Lee Hammer. And I said, I called Lee Hammer, and Lee Hammer said...
Lee Hammer said, we just need to know where to send the invoice.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Lee. No. All right, Lee Hammer live. Tony, we're cleared up then, right?
It's all cleared up, Gary.
Brian,
I got some business to attend to.
Brian in Los Banos, I wouldn't want to be in your spot, but go ahead. You follow Lee Hammer. You're on KNBR. Go, Brian.
That's the first time I heard Lee Hammer talk, and I have to follow him. Thanks, guys. How you doing?
Okay, well, do your best, and again, we're not here to judge.
Now turn your radio down. Lee knew that part.
All right.
Okay.
Go, Brian.
Well, I wanted to comment, I would definitely go with Sarah Palin. And then for Charlie Sheen, the great Robin Williams once said, cocaine is God's way of saying you make too much money.
That's not bad.
So,
yeah.
And then also last night I did watch Lopez tonight only because of Brian Wilson, and that guy cracks me up. He just gets better and better. He amazes me.
Who, Lopez or Brian Wilson?
Brian Wilson, of course.
Okay. All right.
I tuned into Lopez for Brian.
All right. Anyway, so Tone.
No, Brian Wilson's a quirk. That's funny stuff. But you know what? When you're wearing like full pirate gear, I haven't seen it. Is that what it was? Almost like a Captain
Patrick,
Morgan?
explain it again.
He looked almost like it was described this morning as the guy on the cover of the Gorton's fish stick box.
Oh, he was the Gorton's fisherman? I thought he was more pirate-like.
No, Tony. He kind of had like an admiral's lid from a naval vessel, and then during the interview, just mid-interview, he removed the admiral's lid and he had a Popeye hat on underneath, and his beard was dyed gray.
Fisherman.
Yeah, he was a fisherman more than a pirate. He had no earrings or anything like that. His beard dyed gray like the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world.
Oh, that's great. You know what that means to me? they need to get down there to Scottsdale. Pitchers and catchers need to get back to work pretty soon.
Hey, Tone, this is just in from Mark Woolery. He's the president of Pro Rates Incorporated, and he says, basically chastising us. Come on, you know that Sheen's publicist loves this stuff. He's aware of all this stuff that's going on. No one knows the real truth about Sheen's problems. They do know how good he is on the show, and basically that this is all a ruse to get attention. I don't think the cocaine is.
No, I don't think so either. Not when you're showing up at hospitals with abdominal pains.
Yeah.
And, you just get arrested with locking up a woman allegedly in a bathroom. I mean, that's not just guy having. His show doesn't need better ratings. 2.5 Men's like the most successful show on CBS, isn't it?
Tone, speaking of abdominal pain, you see that Rose for the Bulls? He's like 23 years old with ulcers.
He's got stomach ulcers, but that's because he's eating a lot of spicy foods, Gary.
Yeah. All right.
Because I had stomach ulcers as a kid, too, but it wasn't from eating spicy food.
Patrick, 30 seconds. Just Ken in Livermore with a Dan Dibley Fanfest mention. Go, Ken.
Hey, Gary, how you doing, bud?
Good, sir.
Hey, I was coming home the other day, and I was appalled. In fact, I was turning to my inner Bruno out of rage when Dan Dibley assaulted you on the radio.
Okay, what happened?
About 10,
the professional comment, you mean?
On Wednesday, when he talked about your professionalism.
Do we have the tape?
Tony, again, I must apologize for the second time during the 9 to noon slot today. I don't know where Mike hid the tape.
All right.
Mike hid the tape?
Actually,
I thought Dan was the one that was playing.
I
thought
in
Dan
here
Dibley was the one that was playing that all the time.
Tone, 3 a.m. this morning, I'm on my hands and knees hiding it under the desk.
You and Rob Thomas, 3 a.m.
Ken, you're playing, right?
What?
You're playing.
Oh, of course. But the one thing I did do, because I love the show so much, is I recorded it, and I come home, and I look at my wife, and I said, Dan honestly looks like he is a little upset that he said that. Then I got to hear it plugged by Mike 5 times the very next day.
What? Dan,
I don't think Dan's upset that he said that.
Dan, are you having second thoughts about insulting a friend?
Yeah, Gary. In fact, it may have led to my ouster at FanFest.
Oh, that's right.
No.
I know it did.
Then all I can say is, thank you, Lee. You've got my back. All right, John. We'll talk with you on Monday, all right?
All right, Gary. I may see you. I don't know. We'll let you know.
Okay, all right. And again, Larry Bear's going to come in and do a little quick Showtime Giant thing here in a minute. Dan, Lee's got my back, huh?
Oh, it's tough.
On the sports later.
Today's Radnich Bruno Squareoff is brought to you by the Handlery Union Square Hotel, the only place Tony Bruno stays when he comes to San Francisco.